Did you know that this logo is a button, this has a built-in sound machine, and that I have 9 other iPhone hacks that you probably don't know about? Now, you might already know that iPhone has a built-in password manager to save all your passwords in case you forget them, and to use an autofill so you're not having to type them out every time. But the password manager is buried deep in the settings, so it can be hard to access if you're trying to get something really quickly. Instead of rummaging through the settings app to find your specific password, you can just ask Siri to help you. Hey Siri, what's my Netflix password? Now you do have to verify with Face ID before it lets you in, but this is a much easier way to find your password and have it presented to you right up front instead of searching through the settings app. One of my favorite iPhone hacks that I don't think a lot of people know is that iPhones actually have a built-in sound machine in the settings app. If you go into accessibility, audio visual, and then turn on background sounds, in this section you can choose from a variety of different options for sound, including rain, ocean, stream, and white noise. This is especially helpful for people who might need that extra help to go to sleep at night, especially for parents, because sound machines are almost a must when you have young kids, especially infants and toddlers. Sound machines in general for kids can be very expensive. If you look at the Hatch Plus, which I have, I believe it's $60. So the fact that you can get the same type of sound from your iPhone at no additional cost can be very beneficial, especially if you're traveling or if you're at a location where you don't have your normal sound machine set up. This is a great way to help yourself and your kids get to sleep at night. Now, if you're looking through your accessibility settings in your iPhone, there's quite a few areas where you can find different hacks. The first one would be back tap. Now, obviously iPhones have always had a great look and aesthetic to the back of their phones, but this is a way to actually add some functionality to the back of the phone too. If you go into the accessibility settings, you can turn on back tap. And there's dozens of options for you to choose from for what you want to do when you either double tap or triple tap the back of your phone. I set mine to screenshot with a double tap and open up Shazam with a triple tap. So if you're out in public and you hear a song that you like and you want to know the name to it to save it for later, a lot of people don't know that Shazam is built into iPhone. It used to be an independent app that you'd have to download and then open to identify songs. But now you can actually access it in your control center, or in this case it's even easier because if I triple tap the back of my phone, it'll automatically bring up Shazam to listen for the song. And a double tap will take a screenshot. Now, if you're more invested in the Apple ecosystem like I am, and you have more than just an iPhone, another great feature is that you can actually copy and paste between Apple devices. So say for example, you're working on a project, you're researching something on your MacBook, but you want to transfer some information to your iPhone. It's really as simple as copying it on your MacBook, going into your phone, and pressing paste. And again, this works on any Apple devices, so it can go not only from iPhone, but also iPads and MacBooks interchangeably. Now, if you're anything like me, no matter how good these new batteries get on iPhone, I always seem to be running out of battery, especially by the end of the day, but always am in need of using my phone still. So here's another hack I wish I knew sooner. If you put your phone on airplane mode, it actually charges pretty significantly faster than if you didn't. The reason that this works is because airplane mode pretty much turns off all of the background processes on your iPhone. So it's not going to be fetching for data, sending or receiving texts, or waiting for incoming notifications. Really, all that it does is it gives your iPhone the ability to just focus on charging and not draining the battery using other processes. So if you're in a bind and you only have a few minutes to charge your phone, turn it on airplane mode, you'll get a lot quicker of a charge. In this day and age, it's almost unavoidable that little ones are going to have access to iPhones at some point or another. In my family, we are limiting screen time as much as we can for our little ones. But if you have kids that are anything like my sons and they just like looking at pictures sometimes, here's a great hack that you can use to make sure they're only looking at pictures if you give them your phone. This one is called guided access, and what it does is it kind of soft locks your iPhone. Make sure you're only giving access to certain features when you're giving your phone to someone else. So make sure that guided access is turned on in your settings, and then all you have to do is triple press the lock button to turn on guided access. And you can tweak the settings to customize it to your needs. So if you want to give your phone to your little one purely just to look at a picture and not have them have access to press any buttons, swipe the screen, or lock the screen, You can turn all of those things off in the settings. And when you're using guided access, you also have the option to set a time limit. So if you only want your little one to have the phone for a certain amount of time, it'll automatically lock the screen at that point once the time limit is up. Another good feature about this one too is that you do have to put in a password to unlock guided access. So even if your little one figures out how you're turning it on and off, they are not going to know the password, and if they try to type in the password, it actually locks it out so that they can't even try to turn it off for a set amount of time. Now, sometimes I'm trying to type something on my iPhone, but I only have one hand to use. This is a great hack to allow you to type a lot more efficiently and easily if you're only using one hand, and it's called Swipe to Type. This is built in, you don't have to turn on any settings, and basically instead of hunting and pecking for the letters you want to type, you can swipe your finger from one letter to the next, and your iPhone will automatically fill in the words and add spacing between each word, so you're not having to do that either. And you can tell that Apple has put a lot of time into this feature because it's very good at identifying what word you're trying to type, even if you don't hit the letters exactly as you're swiping. I haven't had any significant issues with it typing the wrong word, but in the case that it does, you only have to type the backspace one time and it'll delete the whole word that it just typed. So this is a very efficient way to type with one hand if you're ever in a situation where you need to do so. Here's one that I really wish I did know sooner, because I can't tell you how many times I've been setting up a new iPhone or just rearranging my home screen and having to individually move apps into specific folders. This is a very tedious process, especially for something like an Apple device, but little did I know there's a much easier way to do it. Instead of dragging each app individually, just hold on to one app and tap additional apps that you want to move at the same time. This is an easy way to move multiple apps across different pages or put them all into the same folder at once, instead of having to move them all individually. Now, one feature that I always felt was lacking on iPhone was an easy way to undo something, especially if you accidentally erase some text that you're meaning to copy. This does happen to me sometimes. And I always thought they had to shake your phone in order to access the undo feature, but there's actually an easier way to do it. Just use 3 fingers and swipe to the left, and it'll automatically undo the gesture that you just did. You can also swipe to the right and it'll redo the text instead. Alternatively, you can also use these 3 fingers to copy and paste your text a little bit easier too. So instead of having to press the copy button on your screen, really all you have to do is gesture like you're grabbing and then putting the text back down to copy and paste on your iPhone. So again, use 3 fingers, highlight the text that you want to copy, and then grab it with 3 fingers and it'll copy the text. Now, once you're at your new spot where you're ready to paste it, do the same gesture but backwards. Place 3 fingers on the screen and put them outwards to place down the text. Now, one feature that I'm assuming most people know is that you can easily swipe between apps at the bottom of your iPhone. So instead of opening up the app switcher to switch between apps, the easier way to do it is just swiping on the bottom of your screen from either left or right, and it'll go to the next app that's open. But again, I think that's a feature that a lot of people already know. I just recently discovered that you can also use this same type of gesture in the Safari app to easily swipe between your tabs. So again, if you open the Safari app and you have a page open and you want to go to one that you already have open previously, just swipe your finger on the bottom where the URL is and it'll go to the next open tab. Or alternatively, if you want to open a new tab, swipe the other direction and it'll open up a new tab for you as well. This is a great way to go through your tabs too if you don't want to open up the tab switcher, or if you have a lot of tabs open, because you can easily cycle through them to find the one that you're looking for. Another great iPhone hack for your keyboard is text replacement. Apple actually automatically adds one of these to your iPhone. If you type the letters OMW, it'll automatically fill in the words "on my way." But you can add custom text replacement as well. For me, one of my favorite uses of this feature is to have it automatically fill in your email address instead of having to manually type it out every time. Now, iPhone is pretty good about using autofill, and most of the time if something's asking for my email, the autofill feature automatically pops up on your keyboard, but there are certain situations where it doesn't for whatever reason. And this is a great way to still use that same type of feature even if the iPhone isn't realizing that you need autofill. All you have to do is go into your text replacement settings, press the plus sign to add a new one, and then you can create a custom text command that whenever you type that in, it'll automatically fill in your email. So in this example, I typed in 2 @ and have that automatically fill in my email address. Obviously, typing 2 @ back to back isn't really gonna happen on accident. So this is a purposeful way for you to type in those two @ signs and have your email address fill in instead of having to type it all out manually. Let me know in the comments if there's any other iPhone hacks that you know about that I didn't mention, and make sure you leave me a like if you did learn something new about your iPhone. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy this one too. Thank you very much for watching.